Hey, everybody. Welcome to today's daily antidote of song. Happy Sunday. Today is the first day of a new month, so new beginnings, and it's the last day of our singing for Memory and Mental Health Week. So new beginnings, new endings. And I'm excited to be here today. Watching all of you come into the room, knowing that there are lots of folks out there on the live streams watching us and ready to celebrate our 1610th day of incredible singing here in the Daily Antidote of Song. Thanks to Carolyn for giving me a cue card. Let's wave to everybody out there in the live stream. Hi to the folks out there on Facebook, and hi to the folks out there in YouTube. And I want to thank everybody who's here with me today. And let's say hi to Namvula, who's coming in from Oxford, UK. She is our song leader for the day, and we will get right back to her in just a bit. Hi to Aaron, who's running the tech for us today out of Bronx, New York. Thanks, Aaron. Hi to Susan in Cincinnati, Sheila in Florida, Deli in Maryland, Pauline and Tommy coming in from Newcastle, UK. It's exciting. We've got new people on that screen. Cricket in Maryland, Carolyn in Boise, Idaho. There's Bonnie in Boise right next to her, Sue in Seattle, Bob in Albany, Aloysius in Mass, Trish in Victoria, Hoda in British Columbia, Storm in Mass, Kate in Charlottesville, Linda on Orcas Island. Hi to Ann in Silver Spring, Fred in Silver Spring. We got a lot of next twos today, playing bingo or something. Mabel and the Bears in Massachusetts, Marcia in Ontario, Diane in Massachusetts, Louise, nice to have you with us today. Glad that you are here. I'm not sure if that's Devon, UK, Louise, but we're glad to see you. It is. And Caroline in DC, nice to have you with us today. Let's see, we've got, I think that's Anne, who's not in Nashville, but usually is. Elizabeth in California, off camera. Linda in Concord, Mass. Hi, Kay in Texas, on camera. Always nice to see your face. Jane in Texas. See what I'm saying? These like a lot of next to today. Annette in California, and Bob and a Bear coming in from Massachusetts. Let's all take a deep breath and get ready to start our fabulous day. So we are super excited. We've been talking all week long about music and memory and music and mental health and singing and participation. And I'm excited today to have Namvula. She comes in from Oxford, UK. She is both a host and a song leader here in the Daily Antidote. And we've been blessed to sing with her, I think 4 or 5 times already. And I'm so glad you're here, Namvula. Namvula is a singer-songwriter and an advocate of using music in the service of mental health. All week long, we've been talking about music and aging. And today with Namvula, we're going to talk about a little different something. So Namvula, we would love to start by singing your first song with you. And we're really excited you're here. Welcome.
Sure, thank you. It's lovely to be back again. Hello, everybody. It's a very kind of heavy and humid. I think there's a storm brewing somewhere. So the air feels very heavy here, but the heart is light to be with you all, as ever. And today I'm not going to sing my songs. I'm going to sing, I'm hoping to sing a couple of songs with you all, one at the beginning and then a different one at the end. And they're both pretty simple. So I'll just sing one verse of the song, and I think, intuitively, everybody's going to get the melody of this. So there's a river, some of you may know it already, by somebody called Rose Saunders. And this is how it goes. There's a river flowing in my soul. There's a river flowing in my soul. And it's telling me that I'm somebody. There's a river flowing in my soul. So I think that's pretty straightforward. I think I'll sing that first verse again. I think then we can just keep on going. I believe that Aaron will pop the lyrics in there. And if any of you feel like joining in with a harmony, you can just skip up a third and do something like, there's a river flowing in my soul. There's a river flowing in my soul. And it's telling So for those of you who like high, or for the very bassy guys out there, feel free to join in with a harmony if you wish. So we're going to go from verse 1 and we'll just keep on going. There's a river flowing in my heart, there's a river flowing in my mind. Here we go. Let's all go together. There's a river flowing in my soul. There's a river flowing in my soul, and it's telling me that I'm somebody. There's a river flowing in my soul. There's a river flowing in my heart. There's a river flowing in my heart. There's a river flowing in my heart, and it's telling me that I'm somebody. There's a river flowing in my heart, in my mind. There's a river flowing in my mind. There's a river flowing in my mind, and it's telling me that I'm somebody. There's a river flowing in my mind. Back to soul. There's a river flowing in my soul. Yes, there is. There's a river flowing in my soul. And it's telling me that I'm somebody. There's a river flowing in my soul.
Thank you so much, Namvula. That was completely beautiful. So we said we were going to start talking about why you like that song, but I can't imagine not liking that song. So I'm, of course, curious to hear why you like it. But I mean, besides the fact that it's completely ridiculously amazing and perfect and, you know, centers you in yourself, why do you like it?
Well, I think pretty much those reasons. I mean, I think this for me is like a perfect example of how you can say very little, but that very little can mean everything. You know, sometimes we don't need to have complication in our lives. Sometimes we just need a few words to anchor us back into ourselves. And I think this is what this song does so easily. And I think there's like so much power just in that phrase for me, and it's telling me that I'm somebody, you know. And I think in so many situations we can just lose that feeling, really, you know. And this will lead into, you know, the conversation that we're going to have. But for me, in becoming a mom to my two boys who I love to bits, but you do lose a sense of yourself, you know, very rapidly. You know, it's almost like you're Namvula, and then you give birth, and then you're no longer Namvula. You're mom to crying baby, diaper changing, you know, and you can, and I think it's really, there's a lot of grief in the process of becoming a mother that is often not acknowledged. And I think, and so I use this song, you know, with other mums, but I also use it for myself to remind myself that indeed I am myself in everything else that happens in life around me. You know, I am myself.
That is beautiful, Namvula. So yeah, you did just speak some words that I think we don't often have the words to explain it, how big of a sea change it is to go from being you, an independent party, to being pregnant. So now you are a body of two, and then to being a mom, where your entire brain structure is reformatted towards the survival of your small people and it's super challenging. I know that, so I mentioned earlier, we've been talking a lot this week about music and brain health, music and mental health, music and memory, singing and memory. So mostly we've been thinking and talking about aging and, dementia, Alzheimer's, and just the aging process. But I know you come in on the subject of music or singing and mental health from a different perspective, and I'm super excited to hear about that.
So yeah, as I mentioned briefly just now, I one of the things that I do other than being a performing musician is that I now work with music and well-being with mums, antenatally and postnatally, more postnatally for various reasons. I've been involved in a couple of really exciting projects that are using music with postnatal depression specifically. And so some of these mums are referred, and some of these mums are self-referred. So this isn't in a clinical setting. We're not linked to a hospital, so it's not kind of severe postnatal depression where people are hospitalized and needing clinical treatment. But the hope is, because we all, as you said, we all know we're here because music does us good, and we know it and we feel it in our bones, in our core, and in our kind of cellular structure. And the hope is that if we can intervene early enough, where moms are feeling low, feeling isolated, um, you know, there's so many things that happen. You lose perspective on things. You lose relationships with, friends. You suddenly, if you were working, are no longer working. Um, you lose your self of identity, all kinds of things. And so the hope is that through singing in community, so gathering a group of people, singing together, you not only can make people feel better, make mums feel better and alleviate, and improve their mood and feeling of well-being, but also help them to make new connections, help them to speak about that, give them a space in which they can speak about their experiences with other people who, so it's kind of like a mums group, but it's not a mums group. It's more than that, I feel. And I think what's really interesting is one of the projects is specifically geared towards people from minority communities, so Black women, Asian women, and a lot of these women, as will probably be similar, I would guess, in the States, um, there's a big distrust between these communities and medical health professionals. So a lot of these women feel very, very uncomfortable approaching health professionals. And I put professional in I do this because, I think doulas are health professionals, but they're not, always recognized as professionals. But medical health professionals, there's a lot of distrust because of historical racism, but also there are huge systemic issues currently with bias and a whole host of really distressing statistics around Black maternal mental health. And so women don't approach health professionals for help when they are feeling symptoms of postnatal depression. And also culturally, there's a kind of, culture. And for example, I'm part Zambian, as some of you may know, and in Zambia, depression is not recognized as a thing, and postnatal depression is not recognized as a thing. So, there's kind of this thing of cultural, things of, oh, just get over it. You're supposed to be happy. You've achieved this status of motherhood. What can possibly feel wrong? And also just this massive distrust of the health of approaching health professionals. And so that means that people feeling symptoms of postnatal depression are even more isolated in their experience. And so we offer a space where people can sing and use singing as almost as a way in, really, to exploring emotion, to navigating your terrain, and to being able to just form new relationships and grieve over things that you might have lost in the process of becoming a mother and not feel judged. So one of the projects is in collaboration with Mind, which is a big mental health charity in the UK. And they have a subsection of that, which is Mindful Mums, which deals specifically with issues around mental health with mums. And that's who we're partnering with. But it's in partnership with a university. So it's all being tracked and, academically, I don't know, academic stuff is happening around it, which is good because then it means that it can actually influence policy down the line and hopefully influence the way that government deals with these kinds of things and have a bigger impact, a bigger and wider impact. So yeah, that's what is happening.
Beautiful. Namvula, thank you so much for sharing all of that. It's incredible. You just talked and you went through so many things. I mean, like actually just what you said right there, I just need to sit with just on its own. I want to watch this afterwards and sit with this again because you went through so many different aspects of the ideas of struggle and the ideas of racism and the ideas of belonging and community building and where the music fits in and then the policy of it all. And it's incredible to think about all of that. And I think you were right. I think you said, people in this room would probably understand that. I think when we did first start singing in the Daily Antidote of Song, it was much more narrowly focused in some way because we were all brand new to the pandemic. And the most my mind could say is like, wait, something feels off and we need to sing. And the people we used to sing with, we're not doing it anymore. But I really came from the idea of thinking of needing to sing. And never really thought until we started rolling about all the different ways that we were now all singing together again and building community and creating new community and all these things. And sort of the mental health aspect of it was sort of low lying, right? We need to sing because it'll make us feel better, but not having thought through. And it's so incredible to see all of the ways in which you and the other 6 people that we sang with this week are really putting a lot of thought and structure to the notion of how music can be part of a personal healing, a community healing, a global healing, and it's so refreshing to hear you say it, and also from your perspective, from a different country, from another culture, and I'm so grateful to you for sharing all of that. So is there anything else you'd like to say before we sing your second song? Because I know you have another one for us today.
That I use that we sing with mums, but I think what I wanted to say as well is that you talked about this kind of like this low lying, I think that's the word you use, the phrase you use, and it not being the forefront of your consciousness. And I think it's really interesting using singing in this way because I think a lot of people are kind of, especially when you're not in a culture that, English culture is not very singy. Singers are here and they are considered, the people who walk on stage, and singing isn't actually part of kind of community life. It's kind of died out in that way. And I think a lot of people are very fearful to sing. And it's really interesting being in a culture, and this is where I really don't feel English. I'm not English, but where I feel I'm like, oh, this is very interesting, from a bird's eye view, where you have to kind of convince people of why singing is good for you, and you have to kind of write it out. And that's just a very strange but also really interesting exercise where you actually start to really analyze how good singing is for you, and you delve into the vagus nerve and you delve into all these things, but you have to like justify to people and convince people that singing is good and is like it's what we did since we were walking as prehistory, however like hundreds and hundreds of thousands of years that human beings have been walking. It's like that's what we've been doing, and it's part of our it's part of who we are as humans, and we've just forgotten.
Yeah.
And it's just very it's almost sad in a way, that you have to try and convince people that singing
Yeah.
and feels good and makes you feel good, and yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and actually, there's one other thing that you, I don't think you explicitly said, but as you're working with these postnatal moms and you're singing with them, you're encouraging them to be also, or if they're not in the moment, then when they return home to be singing with their brand new small people. And so that is one of the ways that you're looping the next generations into finding singing as a place of healing in themselves, right?
And that's why many of the songs that are chosen are actually chosen for ease of memory, so that for us forgetful mums who have black holes, as our brains, can actually remember a tiny part of the song and can take it home. And even if you're repeating one line, and making up the rest, it doesn't matter. The point is that, and the mums come with their babies and they see how their babies are within the room, and then they're in the room for an hour and a half and the babies are settled and the babies, okay, not all the time, like they might squirm around because they want to feed, but for most of the time, it's like they see and they're able to feel that, oh, this actually is is connecting me to my baby, and my baby is connecting to the broader kind of sphere of this wavelength that settles them and soothes them, and it's great and it's wonderful and it's beautiful, and yeah, it's really nice.
That's incredible, Namvula. Thank you so much for sharing all of this. It's just been so great to have you in the room, both for that amazing first song and for all that incredible discussion. Can we sing your second song with you?
Yeah, sure. And again, this song is super easy. It really just has like, I think two, I can't count the melodic lines. I feel like saying two melodic lines, but I'm not sure that's correct. Um, so I'll just sing the first verse again, and then I'll repeat the first verse and just join in because it is so simple that we can just carry on. And I think that, I don't know, I'm not watching the chat, but I think the lyrics will be in the chat. So here we go. I'll sing the first verse and then I'll repeat it without stopping. And when I rise, let me rise like a bird joyfully. And when I fall, let me fall like a leaf, gracefully, without regret. And it's very low, so I think I might actually stop and go up a bit. And when I rise, let me rise like a bird joyfully. And when I fall, let me fall like a leaf, gracefully, without regret. And when I stand, let me stand like a tree, strong and tall. And when I lie, let me lie like a lake, reflecting all. When I resist, I will resist like the sea, relentlessly. And when I speak, I will speak like the wind, loud and free.
Thank you so much,
Thanks.
Nanvula. That was beautiful. We're so pleased to be here with you and singing with you. You bring an incredible sense of presence into this room every time you're with us, and I super appreciate it. Um,
Appreciate you too, Joe.
Thank you so much. Can we all please give another big round of hand flapping to Namvula, who's flapping back at us? I love it. Mutual flap appreciation zone. So thank you, Namvula, for being with us here today, for singing in our Sunday with us, for closing out our music, or I guess it was our singing and mental health and memory week. And I want to take a moment here to shout out all of the great work that we've been leaning on all week long, that's been done and still being done by AARP. So for the last day today, we're throwing links in the chat. Please check them out. There are two brand new links for you to explore, plus also still the Power of Music link, which expires, I believe, tomorrow. So please check it out if you haven't already. And let's give a big thanks to Carpe Diem Arts for keeping this program going. A big thanks to AARP for all that scholarship that we get to lean on in here. A big thanks to Namvula for bringing us beautiful music today. And let's wave Namvula out of the room so she can go back and tend to her little guys. Thanks so much again. And then a big thanks to everybody, of course, in here for joining today. Thanks so much for being part of today's Daily Antidote of Song. It was day 1000. I think it was 610, although my memory also has great gaps. Oh, good. Somebody's thumbing up. Let's wave goodbye to everybody out there on the live stream. Thanks to YouTube and thanks to Facebook Live for joining us today. Really appreciate your being here. And thanks to everybody for being here, and hope you'll join us tomorrow. Tomorrow is the first day of our Sirius XM Radio The Village Partner Weeks. We're going to have 2 of them in a row. So Sirius XM Radio The Village donated a signed ukulele to the Daily Antidote of Song. And for the next 2 weeks, that ukulele is going to be played by musicians, song leaders who sing in here from all around. This first week, we're focusing on the DMV area, so DC, Maryland, Virginia. And next week, I will be traveling all the way up to New England and all around, and different song leaders will play it. Sometimes we'll be singing songs by people who signed the uke. It's going to be a completely creative, amazing adventure. That ukulele is going to be auctioned off probably at the end of October. So we're going to start spreading the word about all of the amazing folks who signed it, and then all of the amazing folks who are going to get to play it in the next 2 weeks. So thanks also to Sirius XM Radio The Village, because we've got these 2 great weeks coming up, and I'm going to say goodbye to everybody. So bye again, and thank you to Namvula coming in from Oxford, UK for beautiful music. Aaron, thank you for running tech for us from the Bronx, New York. Susan in Cincinnati, Sheila in Florida, Cricket in Maryland, Sue in Seattle, Bob in Albany, Storm in Massachusetts, Mabel and a bear, 2 bears in Mass, 1 bear. So Anne in Nashville, who's not in Nashville, apparently she's somewhere where we all want to be. Jamie in Victoria, British Columbia, Annette in California, Linda on Orcas Island, Caroline in DC, Kevin in New Hampshire, Delhi in Maryland, Linda in Concord, Anne in Silver Spring, Trish in Victoria, British Columbia, Bob and another bear in Massachusetts, Fred in Silver Spring, Maryland, Hoda in British Columbia, Aloysius in Mass, and there is Pauline and William, otherwise known as Dad, coming in from Newcastle, UK, and Bonnie in Boise, Idaho, who is off camera. Let's see who else we have. Carolyn in Boise, Louise coming in from the UK, that's Devon, UK, and Elizabeth in California, Jane in Texas, and Jane in Maryland. Thanks to everybody so much for being here today. Can't wait to see you all tomorrow right here on the Daily Antidote of Song.